and welcome to This Is. Wow, it's me. I'm back again. I've crawled through the editing software.
You've come back into the real world because you have a topic that you won't stop talking about.
That is right. I recently decided that I don't care about Star Wars anymore.
Excuse me. I will say that Star Wars is a delightful franchise. I love Mickey Mouse, and I also love everything that they stick Darth Jar Jar in.
Michael Mouse is actually standing right off screen with
He is.
With a loaded device.
So what's the problem here?
Yeah, and first of all, I want to say that's fine if you like Star Wars. I many moons ago also liked Star Wars. I think it's cool.
That's no moon.
I just decided I don't have the time for it anymore, and they make a new show every 35 seconds. I don't know if you know, I'm wearing a shirt of a video game that came out 15 years ago.
2011?
I have to play my bi-monthly playthrough of Halo 3. I don't have time to be watching Star Wars anymore. I already have everything that came out when I was 13.
You set your nostalgia in the correct order, and if anyone else has nostalgia for a different thing, they're clearly wrong. You have a problem with it more so on the gaming side of things.
Yes. When I made that decision, I thought, wow, that'll be so nice. I don't have to hear about it anymore. And actually, that has been impossible. I have not gone more than 35 seconds without seeing an ad for Star Wars or a collaboration with Star Wars. Basically, any live service game or even some non-live service games that have now had a Star Wars crossover. Obviously, Fortnite has been doing that since time immemorial. Destiny has had a Star Wars crossover before. You could get the Stormtrooper armor or the Kylo Ren armor, but now they're actually doing another Star Wars collab on top of that. They're doing an entire Star Wars expansion.
Wow. I'll just put my cards on the table real quick. Star Wars Fortnite collab was literally what got me back into Fortnite. I hadn't played Fortnite forever.
And that's fine. Like, obviously, Fortnite has kind of made their money. It's the collab game.
It is the collab game.
I don't think anyone's getting like extremely invested in like the lore of Fortnite, but like Destiny has like a story ostensibly. Technically, it's Destiny lore, but it's like presented by Star Wars. The amount of like back-breaking like lore bending they have to do to fit this in, they've already had to do like multiple like explanations of what this even means. It's not literal Star Wars, but it is things that resemble Star Wars. This is just diluting both brands at this point. If I like Star Wars, I'm going to be kind of annoyed because this is like not really Star Wars. And if I like Destiny, I'm going to be annoyed because this isn't really Destiny. And now, if I am interested in Destiny, I know I'm not going to hear anything interesting for the next 6 months because it's all going to be this.
Thank you to Rocket Money for sponsoring today's video. Me personally, I like to rotate what streaming services I subscribe to, so I never have more than one at a time. However, sometimes I'm forgetful, and that's where Rocket Money comes in.
Rocket Money is a personal finance app that allows you to manage subscriptions, lower bills, make a custom budget, and grow your savings all in one place.
Rocket Money analyzes your accounts and makes an automatic list of all your subscriptions. You see some apps you totally forgot were in there? Well, say goodbye in just a few taps.
With all of Rocket Money's premium features, members have saved up to $740 a year. Rocket Money has helped members cancel over $500 million worth of subscriptions.
Are you using your spreadsheets to budgets like I used to? Or worse, are you just going based on vibes and crossing your fingers when you check your bank account?
Is there money there today?
Rocket Money helps you create customized budgets in just seconds. See exactly what you're spending on and get insights on how to stay on top of your budget better. You can also get notifications on upcoming charges or low balance alerts.
Are you ready to save more and spend less? Join the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get started for free.
The live service industry, like those AAA, quadruple A games, it's not sustainable, and these games need to have 700 different brand collaborations in them just to finance them. We've already hit a point where if every person in the world buys this game or buys the Battle Pass, that's actually still not enough money to justify it. So we need to grow even further beyond that.
Yeah.
So now not only do we need every person's money, we also need every company's money.
Well, it's also a safe bet for these companies. You know that you own Star Wars. You know how much value is there. You can pretty quickly say like, oh, you know what? We're going to make $300 million on this deal, and it's not going to hurt us at all, and we have to spend like no time doing this. You can see why this is a sort of a tempting value proposition.
Well,
because it feels like a win-win, right?
Right. Well, you say that, but all things have a payment associated with them.
Yeah.
It all has a price, and it's, you know, you're sacrificing something maybe in the future for money now. You know, obviously these companies don't really care about the long run.
What are some of the big games outside of just purely Destiny that have been really leaning into the collab side of things?
Yeah, obviously Fortnite, Call of Duty, I think those are the obvious examples.
Sure.
There was a GIF I saw the other day of someone like Call of Duty where they were playing the Terminator and then Beavis and Butthead came in and like as Cornholio and kicked him in the balls. Roblox, obviously, also they have, you know, collabs like Walmart. I want to like bring it back to like what this was like in the before times.
The before times.
Yeah, this isn't a new thing actually. Like obviously like this flavor of it is different than how it used to be. And I hate to be the like back when I was 12, like things were better. They weren't, but they weren't this bad. Games weren't as expensive to make then as they are now.
Exactly, but they still required a major investment based just on the fact that if you wanted to like get a physical game in stores, the amount of money you would have to put up ahead of time, like you had to make a very safe bet. So it made sense for a lot of developers, especially who didn't have the big, you know, EA or Activision budgets to go out and say, hey, we're gonna license the Hot Wheels game. We're gonna go license the Barbie thing.
The Hot Wheels in movie tie-ins was the bread and butter. Every movie that came out, you know, Meet the Robinsons, Madagascar, any animated movie, a price to make a premiere game is basically ballooned beyond like human imaginable like numbers. That just didn't work anymore. And then so they kind of pivoted to remember the Xbox Live arcade game, these sort of single A, double A, you like remember Sneak King? It was a stealth game where you would play as the Burger King himself and you would reverse pickpocket people with burgers. It was actually a goated game if you can find a copy of it now.
Well, no, but there's just one guy who owns all the copies. He has like a whole room in his house of copies of Sneak King.
Crayola Scoot, if anyone remembers
Crayola Scoot. No, I do not remember that.
Yeah, terrible games that are just full of tie-in garbage has been around forever. It's not really a new thing.
There's even like a middle point there, sort of between when there was just the licensed garbage and now where there's just like every free-to-play everything. There used to be a thing where like you would see like a major DLC would come out for a game. Like I think about again like Forza, right? In Forza Horizon 3, they did the Hot Wheels expansion.
Yeah, and it made sense.
But it made sense, yeah. But I feel like we've gotten past the point of making sense to the point of like, how many times can we stuff Peter Griffin in your game? The answer is too many.
You might not remember this, but in 2007 when Burnout Paradise came out, they had election ads in the game.
Oh my god, yes, because they were the billboards were real ads, right?
Yeah, so you could be driving your car and crashing it, and then they'd be like, check out Obama if you want to vote for him. That's pretty cool. We also had like guest characters in fighting games. Soul Calibur had Darth Vader and like Spawn. We even had Kingdom Hearts. The only reason I know anything about Disney to this day is because of the Kingdom Hearts series.
That's pretty fair. The general story here is that for a long time, collabs have existed, but either they were in the form of a garbage license game, which no one really cared about, or they were in a much more benign kind of thing where it's a cute little like Easter egg, it's DLC.
They were small.
Yeah, it's like a bonus unlockable character. But we're kind of past that point now where the value of a brand has been inflated by so much. The companies aren't just going out to find these because it's a cool sort of collab or whatever. It's literally to get enough money to continue to shovel at the thousands and thousands of people who are working on these huge titles.
Some insane ones, obviously. If you're a Magic the Gathering fan, they've pumped out a ton. Fallout, they've done Marvel, they've done Walking Dead, Warhammer 40K, they've done Dungeons and Dragons. The one most people may have heard of is Final Fantasy. Before it was just cards where it's like, oh, if you like this, we've done a couple, flavored cards in this universe or whatever, and they're like kind of neat, but you didn't need to buy them in order to like play the tournament legal version of the game. Sure. But with Final Fantasy, you need to buy it. It is a mainline set.
It's a whole set.
It is a whole set based on characters from Final Fantasy.
There's definitely elements of this which are too far, but there is an element that I think we can all agree to, which is cool. Fortnite and Star Wars, that's the thing that got me back in. When they had AI Darth Vader walk around, it was cool. It was fun.
It was cool, but it was also okay because if you didn't care, you didn't have to do it. I think it's cool that the Final Fantasy stuff, but I also didn't buy any of the other stuff because I didn't really care. If you don't like Final Fantasy, the next 9 months of Magic the Gathering is kind of ruined for you.
You have to play.
There's also some other insane examples. Overwatch has Porsche. If you play Diva, they have a Porsche branded mech.
Hold on, what?
Yeah. Final Fantasy is like Cup Noodle or Gordon Freeman. When they released it on Steam, they had Gordon Freeman from Half-Life is just in the game. I went to a Lush in the mall, the soap store, and they have Minecraft themed soap. I can't think of a thing that Minecraft gamers want less than soap. There's also Quibi in Fortnite.
Hold on, wait. You can't just say the words Quibi and Fortnite.
Yeah.
What?
Don't you guys want to watch your favorite Quibi originals with the homies? For those who don't know, Quibi is short for Quick Bites. The draw was that you could watch short TV shows both horizontally and vertically. So they would pan and scan every episode into vertical form, which did not work. It looked really bad. Or you could also watch the movie Tenet in Fortnite.
There was Star Wars lore that was exclusive to Fortnite.
Wasn't it like a deleted scene from like The Last Jedi?
I got this one. All right, the most meme line, somehow Palpatine is returned. You figured out how he returned by watching Fortnite.
I feel like all roads lead back to Fortnite because, I mean, you think about like, there've been like concerts for many years. I do think that one of the things that Fortnite does well is making like these gaming moments.
There would be like a Travis Scott concert or Ariana Grande.
And like, that's cool. And it's not like it's a replayable thing. Like you want to be online when that thing happens. Otherwise you're going to miss the cool Star Destroyer or whatever.
And if you didn't care, again, it was a day. and you didn't have to worry about it
Yeah.
anymore. Logical conclusion of this is that there've been kind of games that are essentially just brand vehicles now. They just exist as a series of commercials, like Fortnite. Obviously, Fall Guys is pretty similar. They just like make a little costume for your guy. Dead by Daylight is an actually decent example because at least the characters that they collab with are somewhat thematically relevant. Mortal Kombat does a lot of this now too with their DLC characters.
I'm of two minds here because like I understand that this is already kind of becoming overplayed and like the specialness is sort of wearing off. With I think Magic probably being the best example of a actual problem where you can't ignore it.
Yeah,
but
you're
like
locked into this.
for the most part, this is all bonus DLC.
But
if you don't
it's
care,
not bonus anymore. That's the problem.
if we're talking about a stupid Seth Rogen skin in Call of Duty and like who cares, whatever. And like there's definitely points in which these are cool collabs, but like, you know, everyone's realized that you can just juice brands for all they're worth. It's making a distracting experience when Peter from friggin' Family Guy rolls up and he's friggin' animating at 5 FPS and he's like completely doesn't match in Fortnite or whatever. What we're seeing here is things are getting out of hand. Like it is too many collabs. They're just shoving the jokes in your face so hard you just can't ignore them.
Isn't every game company then like incentivized any game that they're going to develop in the future is going to be this kind of thing that can just be like a collab farm?
Yeah, how many whales can we gather with this? And that's the annoying thing too is these aren't for like people like me or you. It's for people that buy every single thing that comes out of the game. It wasn't so apparent before that it's like, oh, this is just the whale.
Yeah.
pit. Part of a larger problem with live services in general is like so many of them die too, is because one successful live service can pay for 100 failures. We talk about how much money Concord burst into flames, and that's a monumental amount of money. But there's also Suicide Squad, and there was that Platinum Games live service that no one even remembers. I don't even remember what it was called. When a successful one does happen, it makes so much money that it pays for all these failures. So companies have this incentive to like, even if they fail 9 times in a row, it's still worth it. So your games are either just complete garbage or they're like the biggest thing on planet Earth.
You gotta separate them out a little bit, right? Fortnite is the collab game, right? Like no one is going into Fortnite expecting it not to be totally different every couple months. That's kind of the MO of the game. I think it's a little bit more understandable. But when you're shoving all this stuff into like a Call of Duty or a Death Stranding, or even like a physical game like Magic, I can really understand where some of that frustration comes from, because now you're sort of forced to invest and pay money and sort of really play with something that you may not care at all about. But also, I think in a lot of these cases, it is so often so over the top, so ridiculous that like it almost doesn't even feel like it's just noise.
Because all of these brands need their character to be portrayed in the way they prefer, it means that the art style can never conform to these things, that they all kind of do have to end up looking like Fortnite because the characters can't look too weird or different. When you mention the physical game of Magic does have a digital component as well. There's Magic Arena, there's Magic Online. When you think about these licensing deals that they have to make for all of these games, for all of these characters, when Magic released the Marvel collab with Spider-Man, that licensing deal only pertains to the physical cards. Marvel already has a digital card game, Marvel Snap. So that is a different licensing deal entirely, and Magic does not have the rights to distribute those cards digitally. In order to get around this, the licensing deal they made for these cards, they had to make this system called Through the Omen Path. They had to make a copy of all of these Marvel cards, but with a Magic in-universe name and style. Now, not only do you need to know all of these paper Marvel cards, you need to know their in-universe equivalent if you want to play with them online.
Jesus.
And it's just complete licensing deal hell. So what's going to happen when all these licensing deals expire for all these other cards of Fallout cards or this or that?
That's a really good question, because taking Fortnite as an example, you don't lose a Fortnite skin. Obviously, they will only sell them for a particular amount of time.
And that's why they have rotating storefronts. Is you might still have the skin, but they can't sell you the Sabrina Carpenter skin anymore, so it'll just never show up in the shop again.
But has there ever been a case in which they have actually taken something down? Because I'm assuming that Epic are smart enough to know, hey, if you're buying something, we're not going to take it away from you.
I mean, you don't own any of this stuff. It's all digital rights management. I'm sure there's a clause in every EULA that just says, like, by the way, we can revoke your ownership of any of this stuff at any time. They've done it with games before, I know, on Steam. They've like removed the original Blur. You can't buy new copies of it. You can still play the old one. It's getting worse because half the content is licensed in a game. So if you ever want to go back and play it, you can't, because it's all been taken out, or it's all been removed, or it's just not licensed anymore.
I try to stay somewhat on the optimistic side. You think about the gaming industry as sort of, it has these like sort of like big sort of like peaks. But I feel like the sort of era that we're living in right now is the collab era. In some ways it was cool, but I think it's become so oversaturated that people are just looking at it as just a cash grab. Like at a certain point, you're gonna see the new thing like, oh wow, they've got Superman in Fortnite. Like, all right.
Before, when we only needed a little bit of licensing money, we could only take the cream of the crop, the best possible collab for our game. But now because we need all the money, we need to scrape the entire barrel all the way out, and now we're just getting, Collab Slop. There's only 3 companies now that exist anymore. Disney owns like part of every gaming company alive. It's easier for them to collab because they can have their fingers in everything. Or Tencent owns a million things. Microsoft owns a million things. This thing sucks and it's really bad, but like just rest assured, people won't jump from a sinking ship unless they have something to jump to. So like,
and are you going to be the differentiated game who just like, oh, we don't do collabs,
right?
Like people are going, oh, so you don't do anything fun?
Yeah, rest assured, like if you don't like this, like it's only going to get replaced when there's something even more annoying, even more awful that's going to replace it.
It's true.
This is very like sad and like grumpy pilled and like doomery. There are some like good things that are coming out of this. Obviously, like there are real interesting collabs. I know like Microsoft Flight Sim had like the collab with like the Dune hummingbird helicopter things, or like the Pelican from Halo, I think was in there. That's interesting because those aren't real and you get to try them out.
That's cool. Everyone could say that's cool.
There are interesting collabs. It's just there's too many of them now.
Yes.
The AA space is kind of coming back without needing these collabs so much. This is all kind of happening at the AAA, quadruple A tier. And one last thing with all these licensing deals like dying, and it's hurting games. It's actually, you might even say killing games. One thing that's been exploding lately is the stop killing games movement. It's been huge in the EU. It's been gaining a lot of traction. There's been a couple people that aren't so happy about that. There is clearly a sentiment building about like that's against this kind of stuff.
The problem is though, is that if you think about the licensing side, it is so fiendishly complicated. You talk about like trying to keep like some sort of like game preservation. Good luck when you've got Seth Rogen skins everywhere. It's like, I think it just becomes a basically an impossibility. Take Xbox, for example. Xbox have done a pretty good job with backwards compatibility. There's talk that they're trying to bring that to like the ROG Xbox Ally, but the licensing deals on that are like, but they're having to, all those lawyers having to renegotiate deals because it's a PC or it's a Windows kind of platform. Who owns the rights to that? That developer sort of dissolve. Can they even figure it out? Yeah. Can they get together the team who said like, oh, we need to sign off on the music and stuff?
Is that company even going to care?
Exactly. There's so many companies who are like, oh, do we have that part somewhere? Yeah. Are we going to pay someone to go dig it out and figure it out? Absolutely not. It's just, this stuff gets complicated and it's fun and it's cool in the moment, but I just think that there are definitely some major downsides here. 5 years from now, when you can't play, whatever your favorite game is, insert collab here, whatever, because a myriad of reasons, it is either technically impossible, legally impossible, or just impossible to pull all the sort of people together in one room to like sort of hash it out.
The rubber band can only stretch so far before it snaps.
Well, that's super cheery. What do you think about gaming collabs? Let us know in the comments below. What's your favorite gaming collab, and why are you a huge fan of Darth Jar Jar? Like, follow, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one, my friends.
Goodbye.
Misa, so happy.
No.
Oh, Misa gonna kill you now. One small thing I want to add. A lot of people talk about this myth that there was one mount in World of Warcraft that made more money than StarCraft 2 combined. And I want to put that to bed right now. That did not happen. That isn't real. StarCraft is good. You should play it right now.
Yes, you should.
It's free to play. It's also on Game Pass. You can play the whole campaign. Please play it. Bring it back. Microsoft, please make StarCraft 3 or something, please. It's still going. It's still alive.